You're not saying we're ready, but you're not, are you?
Okay, we're ready. I'll look over here.
Hello, podcast listeners. It's not the fact that you're looking in a different direction.
That's what makes me laugh and tempts me.
It's you interrupting me.
It tempts me if I look at you.
Okay, hello, podcast listeners. It's Andrew here, along with...
Neve.
From the Kids What Are We Watching Tonight podcast.
Yes.
Having gorged ourselves on horror movies recently.
Yes.
We watched a completely brainless popcorn action movie.
Yes. Minus we didn't have popcorn.
Minus the popcorn. 1996's Twister.
Yes. The tornado movie.
Yes, the story of professors chasing tornadoes.
Yes.
Directed by Jan De Bont, who also, just prior to this, directed Speed, which is another film we have to watch.
Is that the one with the Stafe?
No, it's not the Stafe. It's Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
If a bus goes over 50 miles an hour, the bomb's activated. If it goes less than 50 miles an hour, the bomb explodes. So this bus has to keep travelling around Los Angeles at 50 miles an hour.
That sounds bad.
It's actually really, really good. It sounds like actually, when you put it like this, it's like buses don't get up to that speed.
No.
But yeah, if you imagine like a single decker bus in Edinburgh having to drive around
like a school bus kind of thing.
No, like an actual bus, as in a get on the bus, go to Granny's house type bus.
Okay.
But not a double decker.
Got it.
If it was a double decker, that would be cool.
That'd be better.
But anyway, we're off topic.
They should do a Speeds 2 and it's double decker and there's 2 bombs on it.
Well, Speed 2 was on a boat, a cruise ship.
And it didn't double decker.
And it didn't do very well because it was Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. In Cruise 2, it was Sandra Bullock, but Keanu Reeves didn't do it. Anyway, he did that. He did a film called The Haunting, and he also did Lara Croft's sequel, The Cradle of Life, and then disappeared.
He's dead?
Nope, he's a cinematographer again.
Cinematographer?
They stage
cool.
the shots and make them look a certain way with lenses and all this kind of thing. And
that's cool. They have to work very closely with lighting then.
Exactly. So
I know my stuff.
This was also written by Michael Crichton.
I feel like that should mean something at me. You're looking at me very strongly.
Well, no, I'm just reinforcing the fact that he's a very good author. He wrote Jurassic Park.
Oh!
So the original Jurassic Park...
I thought it was Crichton.
Crichton.
I thought it was Michael Crichton.
Crichton. Crichton, technically.
Crichton.
Crichton, not Crotchton.
Maybe it is Crotchton and we're all pronouncing it wrong.
Anyway, he wrote it.
Okay, that's really cool. Actually. He did very good in Jurassic Park.
Well, he did the book. Actually, the book is completely different. Once again, the book is completely different to the movie for Jurassic Park. Because I remember loving Jurassic Park, the movie. I then read the book and I'm like, hold on,
It sucks.
No, it was like not completely different, but...
Sucky.
Put it this way, some of what ends up in Jurassic Park, The Lost World, the sequel, is what was in the book. So technically the book covers the 2 movies, but they took bits of it out and whatever. Anyway, starring Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt, Cary Elwes, you'll know.
Cary Elwes.
He's the prince from The Princess Bride.
He was in that?
Yeah, he was the southern bad guy, kinda. He was the corporate guy in the black cars.
He did not look like what he did in the
Yes.
Princess Bride.
And he had a very thick southern accent.
He was like...
You also had Alan Ruck, favourite actor of mine, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, who has actually passed away since then, but all in younger...
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Well, Bill Paxton passed away as well. But
R.I.P. Paxton Hofster.
The people in the, I don't know what they were called, but professors that study weather, they actually apparently got, when Bill Paxton passed away, all these tornado chasers got all these weather beacons or something across the state of Texas or Oklahoma or wherever to spell out his name, Paxton.
Oh, that's
so
really cool.
if you looked at it from space with a weather satellite that was designed to pick up these drones or whatever it was they did, it spelled out his name.
Oh, that's real cool.
So that was funny. Anyway, the idea is pretty...
It's pretty simple.
They have a device called Dorothy.
Yes.
And they want to put it into a tornado.
And they are mini drones that will pick up on wind speed, how big is it from the inside, strength, temperature, all these other things.
Yeah.
But the only way you can do that is if this machine called Dorothy gets sucked up into the tornado, and then all of these little tiny ball droid things are going to be pewed out into the tornado, and they'll
Pewed.
Pew.
Okay, yeah.
Will be pewed into into the tornado, and it will circle. So it'll go higher and higher till they all fall out of it. All the data will go straight to one of the people's computers, and they can collect up more data they've had in 4 or 5 years. They'll have more in 4 or 5 minutes.
More data in 30 seconds than they've had in 30 years.
But
the problem is that Dorothy is basically a big metal bucket.
Yes.
But Dorothy has to stay on the ground so that when all the wee bubbles go out, she's grounded, and then so they have a reference point to take the data from. Mm-hmm. And the first 2 or 3, it doesn't work. They get knocked over. They get destroyed.
It's too heavy. It's too light.
It's too light. Yeah, it gets blown away. So to be fair, not an overly complicated story.
It's pretty simple, honestly. First time they fail. Second time they fail.
But to be fair, it's a good story. It kind of works really well because you have scenes.
A lot of what's it called? There's a lot of scenes where the 2 main characters are actually stuck in the middle of the tornado, and they have
3 times actually.
3 times, yeah. But the one problem is with the first tornado they go in, they are under a bridge in swampy water.
Yes.
Those would have just fell straight out.
It wasn't a very strong tornado.
Still,
yes, I get your point.
Because it's like really damp water, it's not solidified.
Yes.
Because if it was like rough, like really like strong, like
so this basically
dirt, then it would have came out not as much.
So they drive down a trench basically.
Yes.
And at the end of the trench is right, and they can't get out of the trench because the further down they go, the higher the walls get, and they just can't drive out. So they end up crashing their truck and having to hold on to a bridge. And the bridge is basically just like 4 pillars and some wood going over the top of it, so that
with some nails here and there.
Yeah. So that basically it's like on a farm or something, so tractors and vehicles can go over it and stuff like that. So it's not a very good bridge, but they end up under it and they hold on and they survive. But throughout the story, it's quite good because they also have. There's the scene where they go and see their aunt.
Yeah, with some steak, eggs, and rice.
Yeah, but the aunt's house later on gets destroyed. They get kind of not trapped in a town, but they go to a town to chill out and stay overnight and get some rest.
Comfy.
And the tornado hits their town, and they find out that basically after they've all escaped and got themselves back up and running, it's actually hit the aunt's town, which is just further down the road. So it deals with the kind of devastation of
a lot of people are dead. One of the scenes that I'm guessing was an orphanage because there's a whole lot of just small children standing around this collapsed churchy looking rubble.
I think it's just they have big families.
No, because there's no parents. There was just a bunch of kids.
Maybe the parents were killed when the thing fell. Oh, that's so tragic. So they're orphans now.
Yeah, so they're tragic. In the right place.
So they're in the right place.
I had the right idea, but also like. Oh my god, what was I going to say?
What were you going to say?
I don't know!
I can't believe you're like 13 having brain farts.
Oh my god! I have brain farts all the time. It's more like a... No, it's like...
Right, okay, so okay, anyway, we'll go on. The
cows! That was it.
We'll deal with the cows in the special effects.
The cows.
Characters weren't really...
They weren't really shocking. They were all in the same thing. The only
Dusty's funny, the guy that
he had a slurp hat. I think that's what they called.
No, it's
attached to his truck. He had a massive bag of what looked like beer attached to his ceiling with tape, and he had a little straw. So when he was driving, he could just lean over and have a little sip of his drink.
Slurp his juice in the barn burner.
Slurp.
Dustin was played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. And then you have Alan Ruck, who's always complaining about the maps being folded. They should be rolled.
They should be rolled.
There was another guy he's driving a car playing
classical
music. And
he's like, he feels like he's a punk rocker because it's like, dun, 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 dun. And he was like, whoa, yeah, punk rock. And I was like, oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Music's a bit interesting, but yeah, so the characters are okay. I mean, they try and differentiate them by making some of them a bit extreme and stuff like that.
There's a girl who wears a really nice bucket hat.
Yes. You like that. You did mention that's a nice bucket hat.
No, it was a real nice bucket hat.
Yeah, but Bill Paxton is basically he just understands weather. He's like a weather guru.
Yes. Because he knows if something's going to change. He knows if it's going to be like a level 5 or a level 2 or a
he
3.
looks at stuff and he's like, yeah, that's gonna do that, that's gonna do that. Because there's a scene at the end where Carrie Elwes dies.
God's finger, aka an F5.
An F5 tornado. Yes. The fajita rating is basically how much it eats, and nobody's ever seen it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, fajita rating.
Fajitas.
No, we're not discussing food.
There's fajita.
Yeah.
Ratings.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much
I don't
saying
know if
to
that,
eat more fajitas
I don't
to
know
rate
if
your
that's
food.
actually true, but it's
Fajita?
fajita rating.
You said fajitas for fajita rating.
Fajita rating, whatever. Fajita.
I wish it was fajita rating.
Fajita ratings. Yeah, so the characters aren't too bad. The science of the movie.
Okay, so I have chosen my subjects this year. I chose history. I have not chose geography. And when you're in
Hold on, let's just clarify. Neve is in S3.
Yes.
How old are you, Neve?
I am almost going to be 14, sorry.
You're going to be 14 at the end of this month.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a 14-year-old telling you about science, people.
I am not that smart in tornadoes, I was about to say.
Well,
it's Isla who is very smart in weather. She loves geography. She was amazing in
actually,
it.
she has done
nationals.
Yeah, she has done geography. But the science isn't too... They try to keep it pretty straightforward and they don't do... Yeah. I mean, Isla was complaining about... Isla tends to complain more about biological things.
Yeah, she likes to complain like, that's not right, because if that was happening, it would have gone like backwards, inside out, done a roly-poly and went that way.
I think she mentioned with Dracula, with people getting staked in the heart, they were actually nowhere near their heart.
Yeah, it was actually like mid-stomachy area.
Yeah, so the science isn't too bad. The special effects.
The cows!
Okay, so we get to the cows.
The poor cows!
So there is a funny scene where I don't know how it ended up in the movie.
It's just a cow flies right past the window and I was like, no, cow!
A cow's caught. Somehow a cow is caught in the draft and flies past the car and it's like, moo. Its legs are kicking and Helen Hunt's like, cow.
It's just like, cow.
And then it comes back across and she's like, another cow. And Bill Paxton's like, no, I think that was the same one.
Oh.
But the special effects...
And that's the only part I was sad. I was like, cow!
Well, the special effects, the tornadoes and stuff like that.
They're pretty good. When the house gets destroyed, it looks a little bit bad, but at the same time, pretty good.
The first one...
When the barn just gets ripped to bits, it looked a bit bad, because it was like, each slab of wood at a time, it didn't just rip the wood apart.
Yeah, the bit where they go off the road and they get stuck in this little this rut, there's footage in the background of a barn getting destroyed, and you said that looked really bad.
It did.
And to be fair, this was 1996, so I was like, that's actually really cutting edge for back then.
Yes.
And you can...
The tornadoes themselves looked very good. Yeah,
there was a few times where I was like, they were standing and I was like, they've superimposed weather in the background. Or there was a scene where I don't think I noticed it first time I watched it, but he's like, oh, look at this cloud cover, and you look up in the sky and there's like there's like 9 flecks of cloud which look like Elvis quiffs upside down, but they're shaking slightly.
Alright, yeah.
And it's like they've been superimposed over the other clouds, and I'm like, okay, that, I never noticed.
It's like...
Photoshopped over, yeah. But I can forgive it a lot because there is a lot of stuff. Though, I mean, there's some, when they're up against the F5 at the end, it's literally so big that really all they're doing is they're just making a huge black swirly thing take up half the screen, so you can't really...
Yeah.
You can't really tell.
But also, like, if you were they were so close to that tornado, they would have just been sucked in.
They technically should have been.
They should have, because so say the tornado, it was about, like, 20, maybe 30 feet away from them.
Yeah.
But this is a huge tornado.
They're saying the base is about a mile wide.
It's like a mile wide every direction, because there's a massive circle. Not a square, just so you know.
Okay.
They would have just been pulled into the tornado by just wind going around them. They would have been not on the floor. They would be like almost levitating, sorry.
They'd have been like the cows.
Yes, they would have been like the cows, because the cows are more heavier than a human.
Yeah.
So they should be up, and the cow should be down.
Yes. But there's a few, I mean, you kind of...
And the corn should have been up, because they're in a cornfield.
Yeah, but I think it's really, really... I mean, they would have had to have got a lot of fans and jet turbines to bend entire fields of corn so it actually looked like it was...
They would have had to like get those massive, like, huge fans and just put one on every, like, direction. Be like, okay, you're not going to be able to move now. It's all blasting at the same time, and they're like...
Yeah, which...
running around.
Which would then have made actually filming difficult.
Yeah. Also, trying to get their voices up, because I was like, that's going to be super. I think they might have said what they're going to say, but with all the fans, it would have been too noisy. I think they maybe voiced over what they said, so it was really clear.
So another reason, going off special effects, we might come back to it. Another reason that Jan De Bont might have disappeared is because this film was beset by problems.
What does that mean?
There was lots of problems.
Got it.
One after another. Beset, like continual problems.
Okay, continuous.
So you know the scene where they drive down the wee... We already talked about this, where they hold on to the bottom of the bridge. They drive down the wee trench. Because of the dirty water, because basically it was like they're like, oh, this is perfect. We'll drive the truck down here and then you guys go down here and we'll set up a fan. And basically what we'll do is we'll make it look, we'll create this tornado. We'll just spray water at you. The problem was it was a farm.
Oh no.
So the water wasn't exactly clean.
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
So,
oh no! Exactly. So both the Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton had to have hepatitis jags to stop them getting any illnesses. Now,
they're like some thick needles. They're like some full
Yeah,
on.
Neve doesn't like needles.
Have a hole in your arm for days.
Another way to cheat, if it's bright and you want
just got buckets, and people with buckets just kept chucking the buckets at them.
They probably should have, but there was obviously no fresh water, and they couldn't throw fresh water over them because where would fresh water come from in the middle of a field? So anyway, so that was one problem. And another way to simulate, not darkness, but if you're in a bright environment and to make something grey, what you do is you adjust the lenses on the camera and you shine bright lights at the people. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is...
Or you can get one of these lenses my drama teacher uses. It's like a thin plastic lens. Mm-hmm. And you can get them in all these different colours. One of the colours that she has is a very, very light, like black colour. And you put it over, it just makes everything just one, one shade darker. And that's it. But
in order to still see the actors, you have to put bright lights on them. The problem is the lights that they used were so bright that both the actors actually burnt their eyeballs.
Oh my god!
They had to get like drops and sunglasses and not do anything. So that was two of the problems, okay?
Oh my god, the director must have been charged for that.
No. There's a scene where they're driving into the big Category 5 and they open the doors and they have to jump out.
Yeah.
The problem is the force of the car driving and the corn hitting it.
The door just shut on them. Yep,
so the actress, when she jumped, she let go of the door or something and it came back and slammed her.
Oh god!
So yeah, there was that.
It's like Wizard of Oz all over again.
Yeah.
The witch got set on fire. The little Vimbobs, what are they called? The small people?
The Munchkins.
The Munchkins, they were touching Judy Garland wrong.
They were what?
Oh yeah. Judy Garland actually got so scarred from it. She was pretty much the Munchkins tried to rape her every day.
What?
Yeah, there's also a scene where you can see one of the Munchkin actors hang themselves in the back of the forest.
Really?
Yeah. There's also scenes of the producer made Dorothy or Judy Garland have these certain pills so she looked very youthful.
Oh, yeah.
And she got addicted to them, and that's one of the reasons how she died.
Oh,
she would keep taking them to make her look younger.
I don't know anything about this. I'll have to look this up.
Mm-hmm.
But so there was that. You know the house that collapses that they go in to get the aunt and the dog?
Yes.
So there was an actor inside there.
Oh, they killed him!
No, but it was designed so that they could collapse it and rebuild it.
Uh-huh.
They collapsed it while somebody...
So it's like an air thing, or just like blow up and then blow it down.
Well, no, they then have to take it apart, rebuild it, and put it back together again, if you understand. But it was done in a certain way that it would all fall down. Anyway, they accidentally collapsed it when somebody was in the house. The entire film...
What happened to him?
He was fine. Well, I mean, he was hurt, but he lived. The entire filming crew, as in all the cameras, lighting, rigging, all that kind of thing, the actual filming crew quit. They got so annoyed with the director, because the director would say, right, let's film this way. And then they'd film and so that there's no equipment in the scene, everything's behind the camera. And then he'd go, no, we're going to move it. We're going to film over here.
Oh,
so
they'd have literally slapped him here with his leg.
So they had to move everything. And then he's like, come on, this is taking too long. We need to film this scene. And they're like, well, if you just kept to filming over here, it would be fine because all this stuff. So
I'm getting annoyed at him now.
So there was a lot of problems with him and with.
He needs an attitude check. That ain't right.
He does. However,
snap, snap, snap.
Snap, snap, snap. When he made Speed, he had a budget of 30 million and he made back 350 million. So he made a decent amount of money on that. It was a big blockbuster. Did a lot for Keanu Reeves' career at the time.
Oh, is this really young Keanu Reeves?
This is after Point Break, before The Matrix.
Okay.
So I mean, it got him
quite young. Young.
It got him into action status. He was then supposed to work on a Godzilla movie, and
Keanu Reeves or the actor?
Jan De Bont. He was supposed to do a Godzilla movie, and that fell by the wayside over budget problems. So he ended up doing this. Budget was 90 million, and it took 495 million. This was a big, back then. This was a big summer blockbuster. The production and crews.
The production kind of.
Actually, I don't think anybody except the studio executives were happy with him.
No.
But it's still
an okay movie. It's good, but it was very just like sit back, turn your brain off. You don't really have to think a lot. It's very if you want a very mind-numbing film, you can just go.
I think that's the thing. It's not a complicated film.
It explains the science to you.
Yeah.
You don't need to think about it.
And the science isn't
that hard.
They don't explain it in detail. It's like layman's terms. So it's quite. I kind of liked it as a stupid.
It's a stupid film just to relax with.
So here you go, Nibbies. Yes. Apparently, I told you about I told you about the Universal ride, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes. So there was a ride at Universal Studios when I went to Universal Studios years and years.
When you had a mullet.
When I had a mullet. No, that was Disneyland Paris.
No, you still had a mullet in Universal.
No, I didn't have it. I just had a bad haircut at Universal.
He was going for his golf stage.
That was 25 years ago. They had the Twister ride there. And
you must have been old. Young. No,
I was young. But they've since got rid of it. It's now been replaced with something else.
Was it kind of like the Black Hole or the old Black Hole from?
Did you watch the? Did they have the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular at MGM?
No.
It's a bit like I said. It's like it was basically like a not an amphitheater, but it was this room that held about 100 people, and you went in it, and there was a scene with a barn and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You looked out onto this countryside. And then they generated a tornado and stuff flew around and there was debris and you got splashed because they threw rain and then they dropped the temperature and then there was an explosion. It was really hot and stuff like that. It was actually really, really good. It was introduced by Bill Paxton.
You'd need to wear a poncho though. You'd be like...
Well, it's Florida, so it's roasting hot, so nobody cares because they step outside and they get dried off. But yeah, so there used to be a Universal ride, which was really, really good. And it has a cow. There's a cow flies across the stage, which is really cool. But apparently...
Yes.
They're making a remake.
Are they?
They're doing a new... Universal... This year, Universal were looking at doing a new version of it.
Nice.
Or a remake version.
That
so
cool.
I would definitely... That film...
Maybe we can visit Universal.
That film with new special... I would be quite happy if they just had that film with new special effects.
Yes, that would be quite good.
Rather than
if they did one of the things that they did with the Fantastic Four movie, where they added more science than there had to be... That would suck.
Yeah, but then the Fantastic Four
sucked.
Version 2 was a bit rubbish.
The original Fantastic Four was amazing with the Silver Surfer. I know that was in the second movie, but still, both those movies were great.
Yeah, but you love the bit where Chris Evans, Captain America who is playing Johnny Storm, and he puts whipped cream on the thing's hand and tickles him with wood until he splats his hand on his face and is covered in cream. I think you and me just absolutely wet ourselves laughing. But
I was so tempted to do that for you, but then Mum was like, then we'd have to change the bed sheets.
Yes.
We'd have to clean the
Hold on, who are you going to do it to?
You.
You're saying I'm the thing?
You're muscly.
I hate you.
You're muscly.
You're my least favourite daughter in this room at this moment in time.
Oh, in this room?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah,
Haha, Isla.
This is a film that if they actually redid the special effects, I'd watch the original version with new special effects. Because all those buildings that got destroyed aren't actually there. Yeah. Even before they're destroyed, they're all CGI. So they could literally just take the original kind of front plates and put new CGI buildings in. in the background.
Do you know what
And
we
do
should
that.
do?
What should we do?
We should go to Universal.
We should, but we went to Thailand and Vietnam instead. Well, we
No,
haven't been to
we should-
Vietnam yet.
We haven't gone to Vietnam yet. We were going to go this year, but coronavirus. We should go to Universal as like a home. It's like a school trip. We're going to learn for our podcast
I wanted to take you
listeners.
guys to Universal, but would you prefer Thailand? Or, and Mum's like, we'll do Thailand and Vietnam instead.
Yeah, true. But Universal one day would be amazing.
It's really expensive.
It is really expensive. Also, it's a whole bunch of walking because it's so big.
You're young, you can walk.
Yeah, but like walking from one side, say we're walking to Hogwarts to like Adventureland, that's like a whole cross country.
Yes. Well, it's not a whole cross country, but
It feels like you're walking across Florida.
It's a massive.
That's what I've been told by Sophie. She was my old friend. She used to go all the time.
We'll go one day.
One day.
It's actually, to be fair,
We went to Disneyland Paris. That was lovely.
Disneyland Paris is gone. Disneyland Paris is getting the Avengers Centre
Really?
this year. I think it was supposed to get it this year, or it was supposed to start getting built this year, ready for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be the first time that somewhere outside of Disneyland in Disney World gets a new attraction that they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland Paris is getting the Avengers Adventure Centre.
Maybe we can go to Disneyland Paris because Disneyland Paris was very nice. Lovely weather.
and it's
Except
close
for the one day we actually went out into France and it was pouring down with rain.
It's also closer.
Yes, it is also closer.
It's still expensive, but not as expensive as Florida. But
Yes.
anyway, that got us off topic. Twister, thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yep.
Thumbs up. Watch. It's still a good brainless movie.
It is a good brainless movie. It's like, it goes in the category where Flash Gordon goes. Flash Gordon's still better, but it's a movie you can just turn your brain off and just go,
Flash Gordon's an awesome movie.
It is an awesome. We should rewatch Flash Gordon.
We will.
Podcast listeners, if you like our podcast, go to our Facebooks, go to our Instagram, Kids What We're Watching Tonight, and give us suggestions on movies you want to see us do. It can be through DMs or just comments on our posts. Any movie you wanted to watch, we'll try and find if it's appropriate.
Yes,
We'll
actually,
watch
they've
it.
all got to be appropriate.
Yes, no 18s, please.
Well, not for you. I could watch it.
Yeah, but it's boring when you do it for yourself because Isla and me are totally the best.
Goodbye, podcast listeners.
Bye!
I'm now going to call up the adoption agency and get rid of you.